Good.
Welcome.
Call the work session in order at 4:30. Don't know who wants to start. And could I ask everyone to please come up to the microphone, because we have had a number of folks complaining they can't hear when you guys are answering the questions. So it kind of leaves a big blank out there. So if I can get you to come up to the microphone, I appreciate that. Julie?
Can I ask Richard, what is this Garth Brooks?
Not very much of thing.
I mean, it's just funny to see that name on there. Is it?
I know he's a country western.
Right, so what's that there?
Now, what is this regarding?
Accounts payable, it's one of the bills.
One of the bills?
And I just saw that name and I'm like, what?
Okay. One of the bills.
I'm just curious what it is.
Today's listing? Or is it from a previous period?
2/6, yeah.
Over years of this. Oh.
What is it? Who is it?
Well, it's a repair guy for the fire department.
How funny.
Okay. Custom fire department repairs. Country Western Center. So.
Richard.
Yeah, the explanation.
Yeah, I usually look, I just thought that was so funny.
Soon to give us it. I'm glad you're looking at everything.
All right, yes. Sorry, everyone, I just thought it was funny. I had to, yeah.
Mayor, can we start with the Public Works Infrastructure Report that is in our folder?
Mike's coming up. How's that? We had a great meeting today with LCLG too. I think, we had a bunch of conferences here that was really informative, and hopefully we can get some of these plans to fruition later on through water and economic development as well.
So
Were you-
we'll go,
were
you
you
want to
at
go down
that?
the list? Or
Oh,
you
I
want
just
to
have
take
a
a?
question. Was Mike at that
Mike
meeting?
and Andrew.
Oh, Mike and Andrew.
Yeah, we had a full house. It was actually a great
Great.
meeting. So,
Questions like.
no, very informative.
If you wouldn't mind going through.
Yeah, we'll go right down the list.
Yep.
Cornell sheet number one, I'm gonna defer to Andrew on that one here in a minute, but City Hall stairs, we received bids yesterday or the day before on the 4th. The engineer has them in hand. We've got 3 bids for the stairs. We got 2 for the electrical contract, and they're reviewing it. They will make their recommendation, and we'll be back with you hopefully very shortly.
Right.
The city beach bathrooms are under construction, going very well. The rough end for the plumbing has been done. A lot of the interior masonry is done. So we are on a schedule for the opening of the beach season. That's going extremely well. The South Acres roof barn, we finally got a preliminary design. They're looking at having to add some cross bracing to the existing structure. And once they get that squared away, then they'll come up with a roof design and estimate for what we go out there for.
Okay.
Okay. Road resurfacing, spending resolution. So on the agenda tonight, there's a bunch of spending resolutions. We have one for road resurfacing, we have public service equipment, sanitary sewers, and water distribution. These are all kickoff resolutions, so we can actually start raising purchase orders. The road resurfacing, obviously everyone's interested in what we're doing there. What road we have scheduled for the year, and I'll give you a quick rundown. The resolution. So we're looking at Beekman Street in its entirety from Boynton all the way down to Cornelia, South Platte complete, Pine Street complete, Stelzer. That will be from right around where the corner is and the tight section we had left off. And then now that you can do that with that 90-degree corner where the stone wall is. So we'll pick up there, take all the way back down to North Catherine Street. Meadowvale, Circle Grove, and Spring Circle. And if we perform well, we'll add some additional streets. But what I want to do is I want to see how the prices are on the asphalt this year. I believe the county is going to rebid the contract. We come up with our estimates based on previous year performance and how much we cover, I mean, square yards we cover up street, and that's how we come up with these estimates. So I will do final estimates, will be county rates. And then we'll see how we perform, and if we can add additional streets. Any questions on the road use?
I see, we're looking at 7.35, the resolution for tonight. You're kind of going through all that. So since you're right there and
Yep.
we're on that document, you say miscellaneous sidewalks and ADA improvements.
Yep.
How do you determine which sidewalks are going to be done?
So we started putting, we actually haven't used that line very much. I think we've done portions of that $50,000 allowance. We put that in annually. Just haven't been able to. What we typically do is in-house public works will do sidewalk repairs. If we get a scope that is too large for us, like for instance, there's a section of one of the projects that we're looking at that I would like to maybe call in and put out to bid to contractors. So that is kind of like a holding place. So I would say, you know, if we're talking 300-400 feet of sidewalk, and really that's something we can use that for. And what would include would be not only the sidewalk, any ADA ramps that go along with it. But it had to be a replacement in kind. It would not be a redesign. If it was something that required slopes that were had to be redesigned to make ADA compliant, we should shy away from that. We have to go to the engineer. This is basic stuff. Basically, hire a contractor to replace something that's already there. And again, we put that goes on annually. It's an arbitrary placeholder. I think one year we spent like 20 grand. One year we didn't spend any. This year I have a couple projects in mind and decided to take those on. We will definitely let you know. But I'm looking at one over by the projects. There's a long section of sidewalk by South Side road, across from South Side Road. Is work right in front there that we own, and it's too much for us to take on in-house. That would be place.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the road resurfacing. Public service equipment. So we have a resolution tonight for that, right?
Yep.
Mike, let me, one thing on the South Acres barn, refresh my memory, what account is that coming out of?
That's all general.
Okay, so it's 736.
Yep.
For tonight.
So this is public service equipment. We have 2 maintenance vehicles / pickup trucks. Funding for that will be CHIPS. Small municipal tractor, the same deal. That's the sidewalk machine that you typically see that we have. So that will be again a CHIPS funded.
Is this the little machine that picks up snow? And
Picks
does
up
the
snow,
curbing and-
mows grass. It's a combination unit. They call. We have 2 sizes. We have a large one. The manufacturer's called Contractual, the smaller one is the Ventrek. And they're both, we send out typically 2 of each.
How many do we own right now?
We own 2 of the Ventrek, or 2 of the trackless MTs, which are the heavy duty ones, and we own 1 of the Ventreks. The Ventrek's probably about 3/4 of its life cycle.
So this will be to add one more.
It adds 1 more, but what we'll end up doing is we'll probably keep both of them for a couple of years, and the older one, once it becomes a maintenance, we'll shed that one and look for another one, so we get a rotation.
Okay, so that's one more of the Ventrons.
One Ventrek, yeah.
What's the longevity on those?
I'm gonna say we've had this one 8, 9 years now. I've been trying to keep it on strictly, no removal in the winter time, to the extent of, we don't use it so much in summer. They're using it more at the beach, believe it or not, to take care of flow sand and some of those issues. So that's kind of the more year round, the shorter life cycle.
use that to like clean the sand on the beach? Pick up the
Clean
grease?
sand, well, you can use it for that, but a lot of times boardwalk, so we'll go out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if we're cleaning the boardwalk around there, it's a low ground pressure machine through, on high flotation tires, so we're able to get as much as we can off of the trackless.
So with this slate of vehicles, for tonight, do you anticipate that you're going to need more for the year?
Well, if you go to the very last item in my report, under miscellaneous. Mayor Hughes and myself and I talked to Chamberlain Mark, there's a New York State new advanced clean truck rule. And what that is New York State is continuing on with the green initiative along with California
Mhm.
and a bunch of other states. And what it states is after 2025, they cannot sell any title chassis that are diesel unless they sell at least one EV. This is large trucks. This is not pickup trucks. This is class 7, 8 trucks. So the local, whether you Daimler products, which is Freightliner, Western Star, which is our current fleet, or Peterbilt and Kenworth or Mack, they have to sell one electric truck for every 5 or electric truck to sell 5 diesel trucks. The governor gave a waiver to municipalities, so municipalities for 2 years can buy plow trucks, they can buy sweeper trucks, or they can buy sewer back trucks. So there's a big rush to either get your diesel trucks. Different people are doing different things, but it's something we're gonna have to address. I'm gonna come to you with a proposal with some numbers and a plan to, do we want to look at upgrade? We have 3 current plow trucks that need to be replaced. I had planned on replacing over about 5 to 6 year spans. This kind of accelerates it. So we need to look at that, have a discussion, but I want to get some numbers in front of you.
When you are ready to do that, I would like a copy of this clean truck.
It's 300 pages and I'd be more than happy.
Is there anything in there that is, like an introduction or something that kind of condenses it or anything?
The actual, believe it or not, the salespeople from all the manufacturers they've come to me with the same information. I'll try to get something that condenses it down, but what I understand is a 300-page DEC document that pretty much spells it out. I'd like to get a copy of the waiver too, and I'll have that in the package for the governor and sent out, giving us the additional 2 years.
That must have a link then on the DEC site for this.
It is.
Yeah.
If you look up that rule, it should be right there. New York State.
Okay.
I did look it up and I started reading through it, and it's a lot of people use.
Okay.
So again, it's something for you to put on your radar.
Mhm.
Prepare something for, hopefully I have it together for the next infrastructure meeting. We can present and have discussion.
Okay. So I have a question and a request. In the budget, when we vote on the capital projects. Okay, so we've got like maybe half a dozen or so pages in the back of the budget, and it tells us what our capital projects are. And it will tell us all the things that we anticipate we want to work on. It breaks them down. This is what we want to do this year, so on and so on. And then on the far right column, it tells us the spending source, but it lumps the spending sources together without delineating this project's coming from general fund, this project's coming from, you know what I'm saying? And so when I see an agenda like this, where we have a lot of capital project and expenditures, I would like to see some kind of either a Google Sheets or Excel, whatever, can be done. And I'm not sure who would do it, but this is the request I have. I would really like to see every time we vote on something, a breakdown of, okay, this is what we spent in general fund. Well, that's per resolution,
Mhm.
but it would be nice if we had a consolidated document that's keeping track of all the projects, where they're coming from, and they could get placed in these folders for Public Works once a month as supporting documents. So Mayor Hughes, I don't know how time consuming or how much effort that would be.
The problem we have with this one, and you're not gonna want to hear this answer, is this was a function of the old city engineering department. Somehow we were voluntold or given this, and, you know, whether it be MLB is in there. Public Works, actually, the only thing Public Works ever used to put in it was a road fleet. Public service equipment and a little bit of building works for ourselves. So again, it's kind of always been a loose plan. You know, I don't know how we're gonna keep track of not only ours, but, you know, everyone else's stuff too.
No, I'm not asking you to keep track of everybody else's stuff. I'm just saying that when we have these projects and
Whole, are you talking the whole capital?
But the running total you're looking for, you're gonna. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you want to look at like a total running total for general fund, water, sewer, electric, everything, right?
All different funding.
Yeah.
but if you created a consolidated document and everybody had access to it. I mean, Google Sheets gives you that kind of accessibility where you can, it can be a shared document and anybody can
I
edit.
want to see more of though, grant funded versus general fund percentages as well, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess, to me, the biggest thing is how much are we taking on the general fund, percentage wise? We're doing $1 million project and half of, or whatever percentage is coming out of the general fund. That's what I always look to see how much grant money we have. And that will change too during the course of, before we do the project, I mean, sometimes, so. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'd like to see a running total
Right.
of where the funding is coming for all these various projects, so that every time that we have a project that's going to draw from water, sewer, general funds, chips, every single project would be updated on the sheet so that we would know as counselors, well, where are we? Because by the time we get to the end of the year, we're like, well, how much have we spent and how much do we have left? And it would, I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I think it would be useful for us as counselors if we would have a consolidated document that keeps track of all of the expenditures as we're going.
Richard, Richard, how, I mean, is there something we can do with that, or?
These spending resolution has some funding sources.
Right.
Other companies are, you know, funds. Now, if you want a running total of them, we can give you a report out of Munis that shows you each project. That's.
I mean, again, it's a lot of work there for someone that actually just kind of picked it up out of the, you know, this is not, the capital plan was never the function of public works.
So, Richard, did you say Munis could run that report?
Yeah.
How time consuming would that be for a Munis, where it could just be?
Very at all. I can give you a report that summarizes them all, but what you have to remember is where the projects emanate from. And if it's street projects, building projects, and so forth, it's general. And then you have your water projects and your sewer projects. There's only about one piece some open right now.
Yeah.
These aren't open yet because they haven't been created. But yeah, we can show you where they are, where they stand.
So it would have to be different listings, right? It would
I don't
have
know.
to-
Richard would
Yeah,
have to explain to us what
Since
can or
they're
can't be
coming
done.
from different sources, it would.
The reports all in one report. Just the projects are listed in order.
Okay, okay.
But is
You have like you have your antiquity type reports, you know, or rather projects that go back to 2006 for the compost plant. You know, not much happens to that one, not much has happened on that one, it's 19 years. But, you know, you have 2 open water projects right now, you have about 4 open sewer projects and, you know, the rest of them are general projects. So yeah, I mean, Munis has a little information, we can run you 3-page report that will show it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That gives you the information. you want, because-
I think
We'll
that,
start with that.
yeah, let's
Yeah,
start with
that's
that. It would give us,
starting.
Yeah, and see if that explains it enough.
Yeah.
One of the things you'll probably ask is, well, which project is this, you know?
Yes.
Streets, well, that's a general project. You just have to keep in mind that you're not gonna see right on there, this is general fund. But it's pretty simple.
okay, let's start
I
there.
can get you guys a copy of it and you can tell me what you think.
Is that okay
Yeah,
with council?
I think so. That sounds good to me.
The problem with the Google Sheets too, unless it's locked down, and that's what been the problem the last couple of years with formulating our budgets. If people were doing real time changes right up to the very end, and it changed on ours to some degree is.
The Google Sheets don't mean much to me
Yeah.
because they're not the actual spending and they're not the actual budgeting. They change with people going in and sharing information. The details change a little too rapidly. I mean,
Okay.
You know, we have a business system that tracks all of our expenditures and all of our budgeting.
Okay,
And so it's important.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just it's a tool, but it was really poorly conceived and actually caused a lot of grief for some of us trying to create our budgets.
okay,
For sure.
We'll try this and we'll see how.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it works.
yeah, because I understand that we get these resolutions and it explains all these things. But as we are looking more globally as counselors and every time we vote, it would be useful for me to have a more global understanding of all of the money and where it's going while I vote. And
This report will be-
that would be great. Okay,
This, actually, next week, we're gonna start doing a monthly capital, project meeting. So we're gonna get together, we're gonna discuss each one of these projects in depth, so, and we're gonna be doing these, I think, at 10 o'clock. I think it was Beth. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so, I mean, we can play with the times on those if there's interest in attending that too, and I can send those out, because those are very informative. We sit down, we go down, and they tell you exactly where we're at with, so.
I think those are all the questions I had for you.
Okay, well, the other, just to everyone has a heads up, there's 2 more resolutions you might ask questions during the regular meeting. We have sanitary sewer. Again, we're gonna be doing some slip lining this season on Cornelia Street. And it was basically, we updated the project, that was a resolution was already there for Cornelia Street and also Terrell and Waterhouse. We already did Waterhouse, but Terrell and Prospect, I'm sorry. And then water distribution, there's a spending resolution there for the design for replacing pipe on US Oval.
Mhm.
This gets us a design, and we're looking to do work in 2026 there. And that will take us from Ohio Ave all the way over to Hamilton Street is what we're looking at.
It's huge.
Not really.
No, not really.
30,
seems big.
3,500, 4,000 feet. We should be doing a couple thousand feet of water line every year. We're trying to, again, when you have 1900, early 1900s pipe in the ground, we have to start moving it. So we've done really well, and I know we're trying to take it off in bites that we can both afford and it helps everyone. So that's what we're looking at there for some water work. Any questions from anyone else or?
Waterhouse.
Waterhouse
So-
Street, there is a resolution
Right.
on Waterhouse for that project.
Does that cover also going behind the houses and over towards the river to the cleanout?
What it will cover is, we start with a consultant and they will come in, they'll do a study on what we have there.
Okay.
Someone way smarter than me, they can say, this is root cause or no, we're fine. And we'll move on from there.
That's included in the 3.5.
Which one is it?
Why is this separated out differently in those projects? It's like not included in the one and then it's included it's listed. But is there, maybe it's not an important question, 'cause I saw it in there. Under.
One is an
Construction.
update of 20 an already existing resolution.
Okay.
So that was the one that added on Cornelia Street, Prospect and Tyrell, and then the Waterhouse Street separation is separate.
Okay.
That's a new one.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, so just a couple things we have. Let's see what item it is here. The seeker review for Cornelia Street. I know it's making for some reason. What's that? 7.3. Yes, there it is. Thank you. Yeah, 7.31. So that'll be the seeker review for the Cornelia Street project. And that'll get the ball rolling to finish the draft design report. Which should be done in the next couple of weeks and submitted to DOT for their review. So we're moving along with that one. And then the other one that Michael did mention was the Ohio Ave storm sewer, which is 7.30. I believe in the packet that I sent out that had basically a quick little map of the area that we were looking to have the design done for, and some pictures of the current basically the holes in the asphalt because the storm sewer is failing out there. So basically what we're looking for is to go out to design this year and then do the construction next year.
Which item is that on the?
7.30.
This is just the storm sewer.
Yeah, so that's just the storm sewer. Now, this would be reimbursable through CHIPS or touring routes or EWRS. Basically, what we would do is we would redo the storm sewer and then we would mill and resurface the road. So generally, storm sewer is not reimbursable through CHIPS funding by itself. But by combining that with milling and resurfacing the roadway, it's considered highway reconstruction, and highway reconstruction is CHIPS reimbursable. So the design would be reimbursable, which is what we're asking for tonight. And then the construction that we would do next year would also be reimbursable through CHIPS.
Is there any other stuff under that road that it would make sense to replace as well?
So we actually replaced the water line 2 years ago out there. So that's done, and there's no sanitary sewer that runs along that road. So the last thing we have to do in that section of roadway is the storm. Yep.
It's just Ohio, right?
That's just Ohio from Nevada Oval to basically the Marina bridge that goes down to the old base marina.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Alicia, could you come up to the microphone and give us some updates? Oh, and thank you for putting the planning information in there. That was nice to be able to look at. Don't have to go fishing around in other places.
You're talking about the dockets?
Yeah,
from previous years?
yeah.
You're welcome.
I like that a lot because it's nice to know what's happening in the city in terms of improvements and
can
projects.
understand.
Yeah.
It helps to understand the capacity and what the demand for different types of development applications are, I imagine. So.
I read through your report and I'd like to talk about the Climate Smart Task Force.
Okay.
First, if that's okay. So as I had said to you last month, we have a food waste reduction policy that we passed a couple years ago now. I think it's 2022, 2023, something like that. It's not been enforced. And I was hoping that we could put some effort into reviving that and putting that plan into action. That's what I was really hoping we could work on. So the policy's been written. We actually had partnership with the Clayton County Health Department. They provided us with actual materials and resources so we wouldn't have to go out and purchase materials and resources. It was part of a grant that we were awarded. We partnered with Jennifer Perry, who owns her own nonprofit, Compost for Good. She has a lot of involvement in the Climate Smart Task Force work in general, not just here, but across various areas. She's got a lot of DEC and CEC connections, all kinds of really important connections. And she had she'd hoped that she would be chosen by the city to be the food waste hauler. She had gone through all of the processes of insurance and, everything that she needed in order to be able to legally come onto city property, pick up food waste. I'm not sure the proper term. I want to say indemnify. I don't know if that's the right word. Corporation counsel.
Sure.
Okay. So that we would be safeguarded from any kind of mutual lawsuit. but we never got past food audit. We did the food audit, but we never went past that into actual plan implementation, where we would then hire a food hauler, come up with a mechanism of who's going to dump the food waste into a bucket, outside the building. I mean, it just, we had a plan in place that just did not execute. So all of the components are still kind of out there. We would need to bring it all together, and I'd like to see this move forward.
What, an important question is why didn't it execute?
Why what?
Why did it not execute?
The mayor wouldn't support it. And so there was no pathway forward. And that was it. I mean, so we had all of this in place. And as I said, it was a unanimous policy passed by the council. Everybody was on board with it. But it fell apart because there just was no support from the mayor's office. So I'd like to
Was there a reason given for the no support, or was it just?
did not want to tax the city employees with doing any work. He just didn't support it. I mean,
I see. I didn't.
so,
Is that something that you would be willing to support, Linda?
Yeah.
The only reason I asked is because it wouldn't make any sense.
so I'm just gonna chime in for a minute. As part of the Climate Smart Task Force work, once a strong food waste reduction recycling policy is in place for the municipal buildings, Jennifer and I and my Climate Smart Task Force committee members, we had begun work on looking at how could we draft a citywide. So this is something that could be built out where all city residents could eventually dump food waste into large receptacles. A lot of cities that are part of the Climate Smart Task Force and other municipalities have built these kinds of plans. And so this could be transformative to the entire city once we get something up running successful, and then decide how to expand out. And that would also further points on that grid with the DEC. There are a lot of municipalities who are doing it already as citywide to get food waste out of the landfill. And since we are the largest municipality in the county, I really see this as a starting point to do something very transformative for the city, and I'm very passionate about it. And the last mayor would not support it. And I would like to really find a pathway forward. So I don't know what would be the best way to get that moving forward.
And I had, over the last couple of weeks, I did not have the capacity to put a lot of work into this. But I have reviewed the past documents. I reviewed the policy, the food waste reduction policy. I reviewed the memo that Rochelle Armstrong had provided to Mayor Rosenquist in 2023. Rochelle Armstrong also provided you kind of an overview of how she felt that program had left off. And I had been kind of privy to a lot of the information because I had been brought into many of those meetings. However, I didn't, to the best of my recollection, I never actually saw the report that was produced from that pilot program and which was trying to capture the total amount of food waste produced by department or municipal building. So I think that would be a very good place to start. I wasn't able to easily locate that report. And I didn't have time to circle back to Rochelle to identify it. But I think, while I believe that it is a true effort, and I personally believe that food waste reduction is an important component to moving climate actions forward. I think that it would be important for the city to take heed in the amount of energy that would be put into this type of program. within the municipality, within the government operations compared to potentially partnering with another entity like Clinton County that already has a grant for food waste in action and is having some real returns. But I'm not saying to throw this entire effort out the window. I just think we should drop back a little bit, look at the report, consider whether that data is solid data to be able to rely on, and also re-review the plan that was compiled to implement, because I think just in my general understanding of what was being put forward, there were some holes in that plan and holes in the data. Not to say that the efforts weren't true.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna locate the information, that I'm sure I have possession of it.
Sure.
And so the next meeting that we have where you're giving your report, so that would be in March. Let's revisit this, and I will put some information together for the council and for yourself. Of the food waste report, the policy, and I'm passionate about this. I want this to move forward. And so why don't I gather the information when we have our next meeting with the planning reports from your office, we can talk about it again,
Okay.
because I'm not letting this
I
go.
think, I think you hit it on the head, though. I think we need to sit down with the health department too. The health department's got a lot of other initiatives as well. They've given the solar digesters. They've done a lot of different things to the health departments to, you know, do the same thing we want to do. So I think it'd be imperative for us to sit down with the health department and find out where
Yeah.
they're at too. So to revisit and reevaluate and then come back with something, you know, maybe more tangible today than it was maybe 2 years ago.
Okay,
And
so-
you do have an employee of the health department that is currently sitting on the
Right.
climate task force.
I knew that.
So I just wanted to point that out, and so they're already participating as a volunteer. And that person is overseeing the food waste reduction program that it has a focus on downtown and has a lot of businesses that are very active in that program. So potentially we could partner to use that as the pilot to bring it to the greater
We
community.
got accounts too that has little something in the health department.
Well, we do have that. And then just if I could put a plug in, Jacob Avery was the second counselor that was on the climate task force. And traditionally, we've had 2 counselors on the task force. So I just haven't had the opportunity to broadcast that we're a counselor short. So if there's anybody who is interested and has the availability, we would welcome you joining us. So not looking at anybody specific.
If I had the extra time to
I
dedicate
understand.
to the evening meetings, I would. It's one of the reasons why I stepped away, because there's a
How
lot-
often are the meetings?
Approximately once a month. We're looking at, I did a tally of past meetings. It's approximately 6 meetings a year. And then tabling events, but you don't have to show up to everything. So
I feel myself being
It's
sucked
very
into this.
flexible.
It's fun.
Nobody has to commit on the spot, think it over, you know how to reach me.
Want to sign up.
Yeah.
Well, it's like anything else with a government committee outside of what we do. I've served on a lot of them. It is work. If
Like
you
it
want it to be
is.
successful, and if you really want to advance the needle forward on an initiative that you're passionate about, which is, I spent hours. I didn't just show up at a task force meeting and go,
No, I know-
okay, I'm not
I
doing
know.
anything else.
Yeah.
I spent hours upon hours upon hours on this, and it was working with SUNY Plattsburgh students, community partners. I mean, I went after the grant. I went after the food hauler. This went 2 years I worked on this. And for it to come to nothing was like a dagger to the heart for me, because I'm very passionate about this. So I don't want to let it go. You could probably tell. I'm a little bit of a pit bull about this.
Mhm.
And no apologies. So I don't want this to be forgotten or go away. I want to revive this. So I'll locate my information.
Okay.
And then in March, when we have your department do the report outs again, why don't we
Mhm.
have the discussion again, and maybe we can see where we are and where we need to go.
Okay, that sounds completely fair. And then just as a caveat, the task force is reviewing what their priorities are. I will bring this, I've already kind of tipped them off to let them know that there is interest from the council at reviving this, but it will also come down to task force capacity because they're all volunteers. And so what I am signaling is if this is important to the city, we should have consideration put into what our staff capacity is to carry this out.
So we worked on so many like master plans, comprehensive plans. I can't remember
Yeah.
which document encapsulates this, but
The comprehensive plan.
is it the comprehensive plan? I mean, this falls right into one of those things that in the comprehensive plan, reducing food waste.
I do not disagree with that, but we would also, I would strongly encourage that we assess our priorities as well. Within that plan.
Yeah, sign me up, I'll do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's really great that the Clinton County Health Department, it's one of their goals to work with the task
It
force.
is,
So
yeah,
and they're all excited
And-
about that. Great.
Again, I am personally all in favor of food waste reduction. But I'm also in favor of efficiency and effectiveness and where we can be most effective. I would encourage us to put our energies in those areas.
And Carly,
Leary,
Leary is still the DEC liaison.
she is for climate smart community actions.
You send me stuff so I can be brought up a little bit
Yeah.
to date. I don't care what it is, just something so I don't sit there going, what?
Yeah,
Check
I'll
all the
consider it.
Yeah.
I'll loop you in. Thank you.
Orientation.
Or you can reach out
I
to
haven't
Rochelle.
developed an
She's got-
orientation.
Yeah, that's
package
true. I mean, I.
Or-
know
I mean, she was the
stuff.
coordinator for years, so.
Yeah.
You didn't know that as new chair.
yet. There's always more work, and that's fine. But good questions and good points, so thank you.
Yeah. I know there was something else on here that I did have a question about. On your report, I'm sorry.
And I can give you
And-
my hard copy if that's easier.
No, no, I'm looking at it through my,
Okay.
my phone. And I don't know if it was on here, maybe. The plan for. Maybe I should just ask it this way. The parks plan, citywide, you know, the rejuvenating all of the parks. I know we
The
had talked.
parks renewal.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
We had talked about putting a bathroom on the park oval. And did I see something about that in here? And am I missing it? Like an update on sending out?
No.
No,
You wouldn't have seen it on my report. It's possible, I know, we wouldn't have even discussed it while Courtney was absent.
okay,
This is definitely within the community development purview. I was
found it.
part of that committee,
I
but
found it. Veterans Park at the US Oval.
yes.
Okay. So where is that exactly? The Veterans
That's
Park
right at the
exactly?
beginning, right across from Billy's house.
And the
It's
very-
where the-
Okay,
okay, the flags are.
That's where I got confused because
Yes.
I said,
Mhm.
oh, is that the,
Mhm.
okay, now I got it. All right.
The money for that is for the lighting,
Is what?
a lot of the lighting that they got. The city, it's running through the city for the DAV actually, who
Okay.
runs that part.
All right.
Correct, and it's.
That's what I got
a
confused.
DASNY grant,
Yeah.
that was earmarked for the veterans, and for resurfacing, the surface, the walkways, the
Mhm.
gathering space.
Mhm.
And then replacing the lighting that is there with flush mount ground lighting. And the whole intent is to eliminate tripping hazards
Mhm,
for the
mhm.
veterans, which is
Right,
so sorely needed.
absolutely. Okay,
No pun.
that's where I got confused. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. I don't think I had any other questions for you.
Okay.
Good.
No, good. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Alicia.
You're
I had something for Lieutenant Trombley. In here. The nuisance animal and dog control and the animal shelter and the contract with the white, didn't he just do that?
I was gonna ask the same thing. It felt like.
I mean, I thought we just did this, like,
I'm not sure when we entered it originally, but it's annual, so we'll keep renewing it now.
One just did was expired.
that's,
That's why.
so what's it gonna come up? Like every 3 months
No,
or?
it's because it only started in, I'm sorry. It only started in September because remember.
Right, yeah, that's,
So it was only from September to December and then now this is the year.
so this will be a year thing?
Yes.
This one,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. That's all I had. I was just curious because it just came up again and I didn't know why.
Is that because we went from Eagle Feather to this new place?
No.
Or is that the, no?
You know, remember now.
SPC.
Oh, okay.
So they got just one for the 6 month.
Okay,
And now this is for the.
I see.
Eagle Feather is one of the 3 contracts.
Right.
How
Is
is
this
that
one
going? Are they
just for
doing
the
good?
City or didn't we have one before that was like shared with the town before?
The animal control.
Yeah,
I believe we.
They've
tried
shared
to
services
explore that.
before,
It
or-
didn't work out. so
okay, so this is
that
just for
one
the
of
city
3
then.
contracts.
Okay,
And it's going good. He's.
Yeah, it is going well. He's waiting, the contract to be signed so he can get back to work. We haven't been utilizing him, for the month of January, but, this does cover that.
Okay. Good. Okay, we're all good.
Thank you. Hey, folks.
Thank you.
Anybody?
Question about 7.4, just authorizing the retainer agreement between Stafford and Owens, Marine Health and so on. This may be a dumb question, but is there any reason that it's a conflict at all? Because you're a big part of that, Justin. Is there ever any instances where that could be weird?
It's a specialized,
Because it's labor, it's like separate and you're.
right, it's a specialized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think so.
And this is a retainer, not a
Contract.
not a contract. That it's being, if we don't use her, we don't pay her. And we're free to, use somebody else.
Pay them, right, cause
Right,
it's
right.
anybody
Yeah.
at that office.
We could have a retainer with 3 different
Okay.
people actually.
Okay,
But this one is explicitly, the agreement is, as it's stated, is explicitly for Jackie.
With her, right?
Yeah, for Jackie.
Again, it's not an exclusive agreement, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything?
I had one more comment, really more than a question. And it's about the chill on the hill that we're gonna look at tonight later. And really excited about it. I know they've put a lot of work into getting it together. It was really great. Love to see more activities. I think it's fantastic. My comment is more about being intentional when we choose to have beer at these events. I think it can be really useful and really fun, and it can draw a lot of people to an event. I think more of like the Mayor's Cup and some of those things, or things where there are heavy music events or things like that. I'm not sure for if this was more kid friendly and family friendly, if that's something that we ever talk about, or if that matters, or if this is an appropriate place to talk about it, but I just thought I would bring it up since we're voting on that tonight.
I hear what you're getting at. I'm kind of thinking that this is definitely an event that's geared towards kids and families. So it's possible maybe beer might not be appropriate for that kind of event, or maybe they could do like a concession stand instead of sell beer, if it's the same people I'm thinking of. Just you know, just thinking about, you know, just, there's gonna be lots and lots of kids there.
So Emma and I had that same conversation, so Emma, I don't know if you wanna, the same thing you talked, you know, the way this was our inaugural, the first one. And we just, you know, I walked in the middle of it too, and we had the same discussion the other day. So going forward, we may do things differently, or we'll see how it goes. in this one. We did have this, I mean, Emma and I had the same, and Emma's doing a great job up there. and everything.
Yeah,
The
for
world-
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Doing amazing work up there. We have a lot of great events on tap on for this year, and I'm looking forward to those.
I'm gonna echo what you said. I agree. I think that if we have large events, like Mayor's
Right.
Cup and 4th of July, that's different, but when you're having these small family-friendly park events, I think maybe if we want it to be family-friendly, maybe hot chocolate and you know, would be just better as a concession than a beer garden. I agree.
And I really think it's gonna be awesome. We're
Yeah,
gonna make
that
sure
sounds like
there's
fun.
snow there.
Yeah, you got your snow finally.
We'll make sure Beartown said they would try to get some snow here if we need to even make snow, so. We have that, and
Oh, that's nice.
I know there's music, I know there's a lot of really great aspects to this, so. It's just food for thought and. Am I able to come up with me?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, please.
That's why that's why I wanted, because we had the same conversation the other day.
When is this? I know I have it written down.
February 22nd.
February.
First, I just want to acknowledge Counselor Colleen's concerns. I appreciate, you know, the discussion, and our shared goal is to create a safe and welcoming environment for our residents at these events, right? So I completely understand. And I feel like having a beer garden at Chill on the Hill isn't just about making alcohol like the focus, but more about the event can offer something for everyone. While families with young children will enjoy the games and activities, we also want to create a space where adults can gather and relax and enjoy the atmosphere. And a beer garden helps make the event appealing to a wider audience, and encourages also people to stay longer at the event while they're there, you know, sitting in the beer garden, enjoying a beer or wine. And also supports, you know, our local economy and our local business that will be there, which is Rustic Pines. And, you know, we've had beer gardens at other events in the past, and they've been pretty successful. We haven't had any major issues, and that's because they're run responsibly. And, you know, those that prefer to stay sober, there will be McDonald's offering free hot chocolate as well. And, you know, for safety measures aspect of it, that's our top priority. You know, we want, with the designated beer garden, it helps regulate alcohol consumption, preventing people from like bringing in their own alcohol and consuming it and unsupervised. And with this, ID checks, wristbands, clear service guidelines will be in place. And Rustic Pines has submitted all the proper documentation that they need, licensing, insurance. And additionally, 2 police officers will also be stationed nearby to, you know, maintain and secure a comfortable environment for everyone. Thank you.
That's great.
I have a question. Parking. So if this event gets big,
Yeah.
where are all the cars gonna go at Fox Hill?
Yeah, so we will have someone from DPW stationed at the top of the hill with a barricade, and we will be prioritizing first vendor parking and anyone with accessibility needs. And then afterwards, they will, once the parking is filled, they will then basically tell people to find alternative parking, which includes a lot of messaging that I've been putting out on our social media and our website, encouraging people to carpool, ride together, get dropped off, find alternative parking, that situation. So the parking situation is not ideal there, but we're gonna do what we can to ensure everyone can find a place to park and get to the event.
So
Live event last fall, the cars
Yeah.
parked all the way around, you know, I mean, there was a ton of people showed up to that Parks Film Live last fall down at Fox Hill when we showcased the new playground, and it was an incredible turnout, and I mean, there was, people had to walk a little ways, but I
Yeah,
don't
if
think
you park in
anybody.
Stewart's or.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody got turned away, that's the important
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, and that was definitely a good learning experience for Fox Hill, and that's kind of what I'm gauging this off of, though. Knowing that with the winter conditions, it might be a little bit exacerbated there, but overall,
There's side streets off of South High where people can park.
Right.
yes.
Yeah, all
correct.
the way through there, Sherman Street, there's a bunch of little streets and,
Yeah.
and people took advantage of that last year during the Parks Film Live event. And
Yeah.
it was an amazing event, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking for the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Great, you've put a lot of work into
Yeah,
it, so
I can't
Thank
wait.
you.
I'm excited about
We're
it. I'll
guaranteed
walk.
snow, we're guaranteed snow.
Wonderful, yeah,
So that's
thank you.
important.
If it stays cold enough, it has to be cold enough to blow snow, but
Yeah.
Beartown said they would come and work with
We
you.
got quite a bit of snow today.
It's giving us some ideas with the rent program too, because I mean, you drive by Fox Hill. Like, there's dusting there, there's 25 kids sled riding. So why are we recreating a wheel? Why don't we get our own snow gun and put snow on that hill? During the winters, you know? I mean, if we get 30, 40, 50 kids out there, that's what we're shooting for with our rec, right? So those are some things that we've been, her and Nick upstairs are incredible. They got so much energy. We went up to the town, we had some great conversation with the town, and I can't wait to see what we end up with this year.
Thank you.
I will say that the making of the snow isn't something that just happens. I mean, there's a lot of departments that have to work together to make that happen.
Amy, don't kill her.
Okay, I don't want to kill the joy.
We're up here.
Okay. No, I'm excited
Well,
about it.
we appreciate the partnership if
Yeah.
it can happen, and I think even if it doesn't, I hope that we'll get enough snow,
Yeah.
and I think it'll be enjoyable either way.
It's gonna be awesome.
It will, it's great.
Any other questions?
No,
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a quick break and we'll start the session. All right, work session adjourned.
1 minute break. This. You don't do that. Just to make it know, you reduce it.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, and then you set your.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a little bit. Oh, sorry, am I getting quick?
It should be.
I don't know if it matters.
Simply.
That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. The lights are all down.
Oh, it's always not like. That's what counselor found out.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of questions, but the last one. Later.
Yeah.
Already. Yeah.
Yeah, she had some.
I'm sorry. No, you're fine.
Now I can say hello, hello.
I know, and
Because
they might not be, I think it's, I don't think it's. a
when,
bad idea.
at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's gonna ask
They
for
might
it?
hold-
I can, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. How's that?
Thank you.
You good, Beth? Call the regular meeting of the Common Council to order. Today is February 6th. Time is approximately 5:36. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, without indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry.
Scared me.
Sorry.
Woke me up.
I didn't. This time, could you do a roll call?
Mayor Hughes,
Here.
Counselor Bond,
Here.
Counselor Evans,
Here.
Counselor Gibbs.
Here.
Counselor Talon.
Here.
Counselor Manette,
Here.
Counselor Colleen. Here. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the Common Council held on January 16th, 2025, executive session held on January 16th, 2025, and special meeting executive session held on January 24th, 2025 are approved and placed on file among the public records of the city clerk's office.
I have a motion. Counselor Talon, Counselor Gibbs seconded. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette,
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
I will now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we ask that you state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules and order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council. Matters regarding individual employees are not appropriate topics during public comment period. Do I have somebody who wants to speak? Jennifer? Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
And the same thing out that I handed out a couple months ago. Because we have 4 new people, so I'm just gonna get these out to all of you, just in case.
You haven't called me back. Thank you. Waiting for coffee. All right. All right. I haven't seen you. So.
I was, pretty so,
Oh, were you?
it was pretty bad, but,
Oh,
you
sorry
know,
to hear
big
that.
reaction.
Glad to see you back up.
So hey, everybody, here again. I haven't been here in a couple months, leaving you alone, but I thought I'd come back. Could you state your name, please? Oh, Cindy Snow, 34 South Bruce Street, right here in Plattsburgh. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about me because some of you haven't met me before and you're going to see a lot of me. Integrity and honesty are in my very DNA. My grandfather, my father, my grandfather, every single uncle fought the Great Wars with loyalty to the US Constitution. And my dad and my godfather were also troopers and honored the New York State Constitution as well. I didn't follow in their footsteps. Instead, I became a CPA, and we are bound to the highest level of ethical behavior. My chosen career path was to become the compliance and integrity auditor and analyst at the UVMMC Health Network, which includes our beloved hospital, CVPH. So I'm here to address a very concerning problem in our community, and some of you may be shocked. What I'm talking about is trust. You may be aware that community members are receiving letters that smear the Board of Elections, the city police, and some of you. They also warn of your intention to create a public safety officer position for the direct purpose of rehiring a pre-designated applicant. There are many more very, very sordid details in these letters, but I'm not going to digress to those because I don't know whether these are true or not. But having that type of letter delivered to my personal mailbox anonymously at my home makes me feel very, very uneasy. Scared. I am honestly scared. And many people in my personal circle have received those letters as well, or have read them from other community members. We are scared that those allegations in those letters may be true. Because right now, we don't know what to believe. So in October, I suggested that you, the council, the mayor, and legal counsel at the time report any type of misconduct to the Law Enforcement Misconduct Investigation Office. In lieu of that internal investigation, our previous mayor had suggested. When I left that meeting, I was really a little happy because I thought that you might have agreed to my suggestion to do the outside investigation. And I agreed with all of you that voting no to an internal investigation might have not been the best course of action. So to date, I have not seen any public or private communication that you have fulfilled your duty to report, which is established by the New York State law that I just handed out to all of you. And it's the same one I handed out to the whole team back in October. So when I was looking at things, called to mind, there was this lawsuit a couple of years ago, or a couple lawsuits a couple of years ago, that we had to pay almost $300,000 out because there was some excessive force used against 2 citizens in our community that were experiencing mental health episodes. So I said to myself, did we ever report to Lemuel? And I'm going to use the word Lemuel because it's a lot of words to say law enforcement misconduct. And so I went online today and I said, there's 75-5-B referrals online that report every single time that a police department has had a referral to this agency. There was no reporting. I also remembered that there is some discipline at that time. And there actually is, whenever anybody is suspended or has to take a leave of absence, those are supposed to be reported to Division of Criminal Justice Service. Sorry, I know so much. So when all this stuff came back out in October with Chris and the Press Republican and everybody else, I said, and letters were going around heavy duty. I said to myself, well, why don't I figure it out myself? I've been an auditor all my life. I know how to do this stuff. So got a hold of the FOIL reports, looked at the GPS, the phone records, closed case file report, the settlement agreement, the resignation letter. So I could draw my own conclusions. As if I was doing my job that I've been doing 20 some odd years, and this is how I would go about it. And while I was saying to myself, can I rationalize the falsifying the timesheet? Yeah, I could do that. Could I rationalize not doing a signed task? People do that, it's pretty small potatoes. But that failure to know any work on some of the crimes maybe committed by pedophiles and predators and sexual abusers, that had my little backup, but that made me upset. So way back when I was getting trained as a fraud auditor, I spent quite a bit of time in Quantico. For you that don't know what Quantico is, it's where we train people to look at integrity and fraud and all that sort of stuff. And I was thinking to myself, geez, when I was working as a fraud auditor, sometimes for agencies, sometimes for hospital systems, sometimes for the SEC that controls the whole, all of our purchases in the stock market.
Getting close to 5.
Yep, fair enough. If I fail to make those notes on my progress, I would expect to be fired. Now, I don't know the person that these allegations are about. I don't have anything against him. I've never even met him. But I do know if laws are broken, that I wanted to mention it. So separation of service, here's a law. Separation of service must be reported to the Division of Criminal Justice Services according to Part 6056 of 99W9YCRR. Separation of service for certain types of misconduct can actually result in a decertification as a police officer. Of note, in the case of the person I'm talking about, the settlement agreement dated September 20. Notice that the misconduct.
We can't get, we really can't.
Okay.
I mean, that's not fair. A lot of these were allegations, they were never, whatever, it doesn't matter at this
It's
point.
public record.
This isn't a point. There's other places for this.
Yep.
You can call me anytime you want. We can sit down. I'd be more than happy to sit down with
Okay.
you. anytime, but this is not the forum for that,
Okay.
okay? We're correct.
Well, I'm really concerned that right now the confidence on our police department is very shaken. And I think we as citizens deserve to have this aired. Thank you.
I agree with you 1,000%, and trust me, hang on. Jen? Jennifer followed me from the county.
I'm gonna be so quick because I need to get to the town of Plattsburgh town meeting, so I'm gonna be like a minute or two and then I'm out. So, my name is Jennifer Jewett and I have been working for a county tether law in Clinton County for dogs for the past year. The reason I'm here is I'd like to formally ask the city of Plattsburgh to consider writing and approving their own dog tether law. Currently, the ag and market dog law says that as long as a dog has food, shelter, and water, you can leave it outside indefinitely. I started this fight because of a husky dog in Moores.
Can
That
you wait
was-
a minute? Just, I'm sorry, I can't do this again.
Oh, I remember you.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay, sorry. It is an emotional thing. I can appreciate that. I started this fight because of a husky in Moores that was chained out in the middle of a field. And what I mean is 25, 30 yards from a property. So it did not receive any attention for 11 years. They may have gone out and given it food or water, but of course it was frozen in the winter. And that's just not a life for any animal whatsoever. Not only can dogs freeze to death, because a lot of the times people don't give them proper shelter. It can be too large or too small for that matter. And it causes psychological damage in the dog that can lead to an aggressive dog. A dog becomes so bored that it will attack anybody who's unsuspecting who may approach it, including small children. Not only, so it does become a public safety issue. So in a close proximity like you have in the city of Plattsburgh, where neighbors are right upon each other, you don't want to see a dangerous dog where kids can go up and say, what a cute dog, and they get bit. And this happens all around, and that's the reason these laws are created. Illegal drug use, sale and use, illegal gambling, illegal firearms. They all come with chaining of dogs as well as dog fighting. These are things that are known to be associated with chained dogs. Neglect leads to animal cruelty, as well as where you find animal abuse, you find domestic abuse. It all goes together. A lot of people are on sex offender lists who do these things to their dogs. The town of Ausable, village of Champlain, the town of Champlain have all created their tether law. The town of Champlain is currently putting it before their board next Tuesday. They were holding out, hoping that the county would approve a law that we could all follow, which would have been ideal. But I am hoping that if we can get the city of Plattsburgh and the town of Plattsburgh to create a dog tether law, which I gave Wendell actually the attorney approved copy from the county. I did create a supervised tether law. I changed it because when we initially proposed this to the county, we made it very weak, just so they would take it. We essentially said no chaining of dogs between the hours of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. just to get the worst case neglect cases over with and out. So dogs just weren't out all the time. So supervised tethering just basically means if you supervise your dog, you can chain it outside. It also has restrictions on type of collar. You can't use a choke chain or a prong collar on a dog because that's just, it's a safety issue. You know, you can choke the dog, can get wrapped around a tree, things like that. Let's see. The idea is to improve safety in the city of Plattsburgh. You may not have a lot of issues with chained dogs, but you'll have them every now and then. You just had one the other day where a Good Samaritan saved a chained dog. She was a meter maid and she went knocking on the door, told the lady, I will take your dog if you don't want it. And now the dog has a nice home. So that's ideal. But in a lot of situations, people think of a chained dog as property and you're not going to take it with you. I'm going to keep watching that animal suffer. There are currently 320 or more tether laws across the country. These are major cities and counties. If you go online and Google it, you see they're everywhere. In California, 17 years, down in Virginia, 15 years, they've had these laws in place. There's 23 states with statewide laws, and that's the entire state has the law. So these are just some things for you to think about, and I'm hoping you will sincerely consider putting a dog tether law in place and be an example to the rest of the county, so that hopefully they'll see that it works and it's not torturous. And, you know, it is really working for the community and they should take it on as well. So thank you.
Couldn't even get it to a public hearing.
Yeah,
They
we
voted
are
down-
fighting.
They voted down a public hearing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jen.
Good luck. Thank you.
Doug?
Yeah, but I.
Jared?
No, you go, Mark. Fine. All good.
Two gentlemen.
Hello, my name is Jonathan J. Chiarella. I live right here in Plattsburgh, 22 Cornelia Street. In the Common Council meeting on January 16th, traffic safety around the high school and Ruger Street came up. To echo a 2007 editorial in the local newspaper, problems persist. As I've learned, a roundabout was tried once, but removed because, maybe in part, some residents claimed it was ineffective. However, the typical problems of space requirements for the removal do not apply. Even with limited efficacy, the reasons to remove a roundabout miss the point. Broad research and data, not feelings, drive decisions. More than anything, the very idea of the passive measure warrants a closer look. It may feel good to do something, especially if somebody out there with a conspicuous yellow vest, but counterintuitively, the passive measure is always going to be better than the active measure for saving lives and money. So at first, I expected issues with space. Roundabouts do take up more space than a plain crossroads. You need room for a lane that encircles a median. In some built-up areas, you have buildings come right up to the edge of the road. This is not the case on Ruger Street itself, however. I see excessively wide lanes. Most lanes in America, I think, are too wide, 12 feet, but you can get away with a lot less than that. Nearby, I see super straight streets with immense clear zones. In order to protect the property of the car itself during sloppy driving, we've removed trees from the clear zone. If someone drives 10 feet off the road, then don't worry about the car. The only things a car would hit, not a tree, would be a human body, because you put the sidewalk between the road and the tree. So that's not great. Unlike a tree, grass fails to stop wayward cars, and it does nothing to prevent retooling an area. If the resulting roundabout is too small to slow down cars, then it's too small. But if we have disputes over property rights in the way, I would also suggest the chicane, the raised crosswalk, or even cones. Just, you don't even need the concrete barriers they have out in the front, just cones. It makes people think differently. Remember that a new roundabout, any new configuration may increase the number of fender benders, but it would reduce the number of injuries. But if you cannot prove that this is saving lives, why bother, right? It's inconvenient inconvenient for drivers. And now it feels that way, but that's actually the point. When you feel inconvenience, you feel nervous, tense, boxed in, your mind switches between two types of thinking. Daniel Kahneman wrote a book about this, type 1 and type 2. When you feel nervous, you go off of autopilot, and this happens to all humans. We're all humans. It happens to all of us. We get alert, we slow down instinctively, ease off the accelerator, and we become aware of our surroundings. Things feel good, feel comfortable. We have wide lanes. Oh shoot, I'm going 50 and 35 zone. Whoops. Everybody does this. This is not about being a good person. Nothing to do with it. So we should recognize and manipulate feelings of others, not let our feelings shape our decisions. If you only have one lane at a traffic stop, and let's say like, oh, I just want to turn right. I want to turn right on red. Why is this person slowing me down? We feel antsy. We're in a vehicle that's meant to go fast, and this person, just let me go through. And we actually have only had this since the 70s. It was done as part of a thing to reduce oil consumption and to speed up times, embargo, all that. And it didn't really work, actually. People mean well, but the suggestions to move stop signs or higher crossing guards show that our collective understanding of traffic is stuck literally 100 years in the past. With the simultaneous concerns over budgeting, some suggestions even become harmful. Take the crossing guard, for example. A police officer or any city employee in this role needs to be paid. If you can only attract volunteers, you will disproportionately get people who lack proper training. Additionally, all humans are imperfect. Even a perfect crossing guard is only effective during the hours that person is working. So to repeat some things, the stop sign itself doesn't stop cars, it only asks drivers to stop. Is the problem really that drivers need to be asked not to drive into people or intimidate them? Well, most people are good. It only takes 1 out of 1,000 to take things a little less seriously for there to be a tragic incident. And if somebody's of that mindset, I don't care, get on with it. I don't think a stop sign is going to change that person. And this is not about everybody being evil. It's about, we want to make things impossible, literally impossible for tragedies. So when people are looking at stop sign, even if you're good, you might be not seeing other things. Some call it attentive. Sorry, I didn't know this moment, but I didn't finish. But I would like to enter this for being record.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Jared?
Try to get through this fast, I kind of did that 4 minute stuff, I'm a little over, I'm very sorry. Yeah, I actually had to stop watch. Okay, Mayor Hughes and members of the Common Council, glasses are a little dirty, I think I'll try without my glasses here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I stand before you to express my deep concern about the urgent need for independent investigation into the Plattsburgh City Police Department. It's not just about one individual or one incident, it's about the soul of our community and the values we choose to uphold. I understand that the Plattsburgh is a small city, blood is thicker than water, and we all have our friendships, our loyalties, and people we want to protect. But it's never okay to protect potential criminals who use the badge as a shield to commit crimes under the blue line of silence. Loyalty should never come at the cost of justice. We cannot have a DA's office that prides itself on locking away people for pretty drug crimes while turning a blind eye to those in power who may be committing serious offenses under the guise of a badge. How can anyone be proud of a DA's office that goes after low-hanging fruit while completely ignoring possible bad actors within our own institution? This double standard erodes public trust and undermines the very principles of justice and fairness. I have spoken with Mr. Hughes about this issue, and I appreciate his understanding, and an independent investigation is the right thing to do. And if I'm wrong about this, please let me know. This is my interpretation. I've also discussed this matter with Jared Tremblay, who has expressed his willingness to participate fully in such an investigation, including being interviewed and answering tough questions. This is a step in the right direction, but it's only the beginning. Regardless of who the next police chief may be, the residents of Plattsburgh deserve honesty, transparency, and a police department they can trust. This investigation is not about targeting individuals, as I have received letters, same ones that Cynthia received. It is about upholding the values of accountability and public safety that our community deserves. I must also raise serious concern regarding certain individuals who have been the subject of deeply troubling accusations. Based on what I've heard from multiple women, I have strongly believed that anyone implicated in such allegations should not be allowed to have any further involvement within the Plattsburgh City Police Department, including in a consulting capacity. These accusations, if true, go far beyond personal indiscretion. They strike at the heart of our public trust and safety. I urge those with first-hand experience to come forward and share their stories in writing with those who have authority to take action. This is not about personal grievances or any private matters. It is about ensuring that our city's leadership and institutions operate with the highest standards of integrity. The people of Plattsburgh deserve nothing less. We are a small city, but we are a prosperous one, yet we allow indifference and silence to fester. We have churches where we gather to preach morality, but we do not practice it when it matters most. We have institutions meant to serve and protect, but do we hold them accountable when they fail? We have a community that thrives on gossip and whispers, but do we take action when it counts? Our best young people leave as soon as they can, taking their talents and characters to other communities because they feel stifled here. They contribute to other cities because we have failed to create a place where they feel safe, heard, and valued. We have the resources, the intelligence, and the heart to do better, but we must choose to act. What is on trial?
Breathe.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Breathe.
Gonna get through it here as fast as I can.
Good. You're good.
What is on trial here is not just the actions of a few individuals, it is our indifference as a community. It is our failure to watch over one another, to know who needs help and to give it. To our willingness to look the other way when justice is compromised. Today I'm speaking up knowing full well that there may be consequences for doing so, but it is time that someone paid whatever price is necessary for the privilege of speaking the truth. The residents of Plattsburgh deserve a community where trust is not a luxury but a given, where justice is not selective but fair, where silence is not complacency but a call to action. I urge the council to support an independent investigation and to take the necessary steps to restore trust in our police department. Let today be the day we wake up. Let today we choose accountability over indifference, justice over loyalty, and truth over silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I just have a quick question first. I have a written statement from somebody who was not able to be here tonight. She fully planned on being here tonight. So is that separate or is that a combination of?
Would have to be a combination of yours, I believe, Justin.
It's two separate people.
But it would be just you. Your friend could say the other one.
Only one person here.
Right.
Okay. I'm happy to sit down and then come back up. For her person.
And it's a person, I mean, I can't let Jared come back up either, so, no offense, Mr. Tarbox just spoke.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'd like to introduce myself. I think a lot of people in this room know who I am. And if you don't, you have no clue, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Please don't interrupt me. I'm not going to interrupt you. I am getting ready to,
Right.
because he has no clue who I am. My name is April Wood, also known on Facebook as Marie King. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you know who I am. Okay, you definitely know who I am, Mr. Hughes. I am the one who has been FOIL requesting information to bring light to certain issues within this city.
Yeah, really.
I'm gonna refrain from my address due to safety reasons. I will not put that on the record because there's certain people in this room who have made certain threats against me, and I will not, for safety reasons, divulge my address.
It's a requirement.
It's a requirement. 45 Pine Street. Mr. Hughes, you said that you wanted, in response to Ms. Snow's, you said that you were willing to be open and transparent, and I am asking the same thing. I currently have a FOIL request in for certain communications. If you have nothing to hide, any of you have nothing to hide, why is my FOIL request being denied? I did put in an appeal. That appeal, per Miss Carlin, is supposed to be out by Monday the 10th. I would expect, since you have nothing to hide, that will get approved and I will get the information that I am looking for, which is information that was on a city utilized phone. The taxpayers of this city paid for that phone. There's not a reasonable expectation of privacy when you utilize a city-owned cellular device. So again, Monday the 10th, we shall see. My appeal went to the desk of Mr. Hughes. So hopefully he'll do the right thing and release the information that we're requesting. It's not just me. I stand up here on behalf of many people, and I can tell you many people down at the city police department.
Excuse me, I really believe you're out of order.
Many people at the city police
Absolutely, you are
department.
out of
No,
order.
I'll come back
As the
down.
mayor pro tem, I'm allowed to call it. You are out
I
of
will
order.
come, explain to me why I'm out of line.
You're being totally disrespectful, condescending, and absolutely rude. It's not the place to do
I'm
it.
being passionate. I'm not being.
That's what that
disrespectful.
is. He's the mayor. You need to treat him with respect.
He started the
this is
tone
not-
when he said, I don't know who you are.
I don't either.
Why don't you tell
I don't
me?
either know.
Okay, so no,
Sorry, I apologize.
this is me being passionate.
Yeah. This is not for personal, if you have a personal complaint.
I
with
do
somebody,
not have a
you need
personal,
to
this
call
is not
a
a
different
personal
forum.
issue.
But there's a different forum for that. If you want to talk about city business today, we'll sit here and talk about
Absolutely, I was
city
just talking about the city police department, which is city business.
Talk about generalized city business. Go ahead. I'm ready.
Absolutely. So
Good.
There are members of our city police department who fear retaliation if they speak up. I've got nothing to hide. Nothing. I've got nothing to hide. So you can deflect and try to find dirt in my background all you want, or my husband's background. He's got over 15 years in law enforcement. He is not going to make every single person that he encounters happy. So yes, you're going to find complaints about him. You are going to find litigation that involved him. Okay, it's par for the course. That's what those police officers have to deal with every day. I am here. Dig all you want on the Wood family, okay? Dig all you want, but I am here to expose any possible corruption, and I ask you to please, as Mr. Todrack said, this is not about personal grievances. This is not a witch hunt on my part. It is not. It is about exposing issues, and I hope that you do the right thing and answer the FOIL requests that come across your desk. Thank you.
Is that it for public comment? No one else? Get back to council business then. Ms. Marley?
We received correspondence with recommendations from special committees. The council approved the payrolls of various firms in the city of Plattsburgh for the week ending January 22nd, 2025, in the amount of $711,475.42. January 29th, 2025, in the amount of $4,208.32. And February 5th, 2025, in the amount of $591,633.08. The council approved the bills audited by the common council for the weeks ending January 24th, 2025, in the amount of $1,616,262.75. January 31st, 2025, in the amount of $1,222,949.19, and February 7th, 2025, in the amount of $670,312.17.
We covered all the liaison reports in work session other than public library. I have nothing. And climate task force.
Our
That's
next
what-
meeting is February 19th at the Plattsburgh Public Library, 5 o'clock.
At what time?
5 o'clock.
What?
5 o'clock.
Thank you. Figure I better know.
Item 7.23, authorized bid award contract WRF 2025-01 sodium hypochlorite for the WRF and WFP.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, second Councilor Talon. Roll call.
Discussion.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Any discussion? Further discussion? Nothing further, then roll call, please.
Counselor Vaughn.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.24, authorized contract extension 2023-02 liquid alum for the city of Plattsburgh.
Moved by Councilor Talon, second Councilor Gibbs. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.25, authorized CDM Smith WRF thickened sludge pump replacements engineering services proposal.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Talon. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.26, authorized agreement in rainfall post-closure monitoring services.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Talon. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.27, authorized 2025 contract agreement nuisance animal and dog control.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, second Councilor Talon. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a call from somebody last night who had attended the animal tether law, and they were kind of questioning just why could we ever possibly include trap, neuter, return with the animal control. Is that a possibility?
For dogs?
For cat, like to,
Oh, for
for,
cats.
so like, if it's an animal control, like, maybe
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
it's like possibly one day include trap, neuter, return, like,
As a requirement of return, is that what you're saying?
as like a part of the animal control.
For dogs or for cats?
For cat, they want to know if like, cats can be included with the animal control also.
But who would pay for it?
Oh,
That's
I
the
see.
problem.
Yeah, that would have to be a separate.
Okay, I
Yes.
said that I would speak up about it and I have, so I have done my job.
But I understand, I'm all for that.
No, but that's something we can have a discussion on another time.
Yeah, because that is something that.
You know I am,
That's-
so.
At one point, years ago, it has to be a good 6 years ago now, there was a budget line. And we did allocate a certain amount of money, and I don't remember the exact amount. It wasn't exorbitant, but there was a small amount in there. And it was allocated for one of the local trap, neuter and release groups
Oh, I remember that.
to fund their work. It didn't cover all the costs of trap, neuter and release. It was really just a little bit of money to help fund their work, because they are monitoring feral cat colonies around the city. They do exactly that. We've got a couple of organizations in the state that do it. So I just wanted to speak up on that behalf. That it is something we have funded in the past, was not a lot of money then. We let it go as the years went by. Maybe it's something we want to revisit.
Something we can discuss maybe in the next work session.
Yeah.
You know, we can
That'd
add
be
it on
great.
next time.
Okay.
That would be
Have that conversation.
No further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.28, approved 2025 contract with White Knight Kennels for dog control services for stray and abandoned dogs.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Colleen. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Gibbs. Yes.
Item 7.29, approved 2025 6-month dangerous dog animal shelter agreement.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Bond. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.30, award of the design phase for the Ohio Avenue Storm Sewer Replacement Project.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Colleen. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Sorry. Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.31, resolution declaring the intent of the city of Plattsburgh Common Council to act as lead agency.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded Counselor Talon. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.32, authorizing MLB to award bid.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded Counselor Colleen. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.33, budget adjustments, water and sewer operating funds.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by. Who's that down there? Counselor Evans. I think that's the first, right? Seconded by Counselor Evans. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Yes.
Item 7.34, authorizing establishing capital project H5111.03, 2025 storm sewer improvements.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Mark. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.35, authorizing establishing capital project H5111.04, 2025 street resurfacing.
Moved by Counselor Talon, second Counselor Gibbs. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
So, Counselor Evans, did you have something you wanted to discuss, or I don't know if
I just wanted to quickly question, if we're resurfacing these streets, is there any mechanicals below that are due to be replaced? Such as pipes and drainage and,
Mike, I don't know if you wanna. I mean, we've gone over this, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I got-
these are the first things we look at when he's doing research.
I got you.
Well, let me ask a question. Complicated answer, yes, there are utilities in some of these streets that will need to be replaced. The reality is we cannot afford to replace for this time. With CHIPS money, the life cycle needs to be 10 years, so we would be required to wait 10 years before we could repave a street utilizing, I say CHIPS, or CHIPS, EWR, APR. They essentially shorten that to 5 years. So we anticipate the streets that we are currently paving are not going to be doing any improvements for the next at least 5 to 10 years. They need to be upgraded so they ride correctly, and safe for people, and that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So it's a double-edged sword. Fortunately, yes, I wish we could replace all the utilities. There's a lot of them. You know, most of the city streets that I can find defects with utilities that we should be tearing up, but we have to do a blend of both. Like for instance, Ohio is a great example. We're gonna get that storm sewer squared away, the water line's done, and we will, you know, Margaret Street was another example where we did all the utilities. So we try to pick it, you know, choose what the high ones are priority was. Any question before
Thank you, Mike, I appreciate it.
Thank
No, I mean, if you have a question, please, if I didn't see you, just holler at me because
all
I
good.
caught you out of the corner of my eye and I wanna make sure when you vote, you have every information you need, okay? So we're unanimous, that was all approved, so we'll move on to the next one.
Item 7.36, authorizing establishing capital project H 5111.05, 2025 equipment purchase.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, second Councilor Colleen. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Burnett,
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.37, authorizing establishing capital project H 8320.86, 2025 water system improvements.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Evans. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn.
Yes.
Counselor Evans,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Burnett,
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.38, authorizing establishing capital project H 8130.70, 2025 sanitary sewer.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Bond. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.39, authorizing revising capital project H 8130.67, 2021 sanitary sewer.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Colleen. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.40, authorizing 2025 retainer agreement with Stafford Owens, Bernay, Kelleher, Miller, Meyer, and Zedek PLLC.
Moved by Councilor Talon, seconded by Councilor Colleen. Any discussion?
Is this for the
Labor.
labor? Okay, and that's-
It's just a retainer.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
No.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
No.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
4 yes, 3 noes, it's adopted. Item 7.41, award of the design phase for the US Oval Water Line Replacement Project.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Manette. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.42, approval of beer gardens for City of Plattsburgh event, Chill on the Hill Winterfest.
Moved by Councilor Manette, second Councilor Gibbs. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Manette.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
No.
5-1, carried.
Item 7.43, mayoral appointment, JCO board.
Moved by Counselor Talon, second Counselor Gibbs, discussion,
No discussion.
no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Is that a roll call? Roll call, we'll go roll call.
Counselor Bond.
Yes.
Counselor Evans.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs.
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Burnett.
Yes.
Counselor Colleen.
Yes.
Item 7.44, resolution expressing opposition to the preference power rate proposal of the New York Power Authority.
Moved by Counselor Gibbs, seconded by Counselor Manette, any discussion?
Yes, I wouldn't mind,
This is,
Okay.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
something we need to do, but
Well.
is this
still,
introduced by you, Bill, or is this
Yeah.
from the,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
come to the microphone and?
I agree.
no, this is, I mean, they're raising the rates, and this is
Yeah.
us saying we don't want them to raise their rates.
How are you, Bill?
Bill's gonna say it a lot more.
You were ready.
Is an estimate of what the rates are gonna look like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What other, well, this is comments that were made by our director of the AUA, our association. That two hearings, one that was held last week in Lewiston, New York, and the other one was held, I believe, Tuesday in Albany. What's happening here is, about 2 years ago, New York Power Authority indicated that it needed to do a rate increase for the hydroelectric power that's coming out of the Niagara Falls project hydro plant up there. The last rate increase they had done was back in 2010, and it was over a 4-year period. Basically, they raised the demand charge at that point about 80 cents over the 4-year period. This time around, they're looking, and if you look at the top there, this is again demand. The energy usage charge, they are leaving the same. That charge hasn't changed in probably 40 years, but good thing they're not messing with it. They are changing the demand. Currently, the demand is $4.07 per kilowatt. But as of July 1st, this year, they want to go to 5.72. July 1st of next year, they want to go to 7.79. July 1st of 2027, they want to go to $10.37. And July 1st, 2028, they want to go to $13.61.
Wow.
They're claiming that they need to do this because they're looking at upgrades in the future at the plant. About $1 billion they claim they're looking for. Additionally, they have gone back and said they have been undervaluing their assets since, I think, 2002. And the rates that they asked for back in 2010 were below what they really needed. And they basically want to make up the difference. That is the rationale of this high rate of going up.
Bill, do you have any idea what the comparative rate is for NICEAG or?
It's a lot higher.
A lot higher.
Yeah, they're showing, even with these rates, if they go, if they go to 2028, they show that the investor-owned utility are still at a much higher curve in the North Country versus what they're gonna do. How accurate that is, I don't know. That was presented by them. I do know in the report, they say
For a residential customer, it, starting with the first year, it's basically a $3 increase per month. Going all the way through, then next year it's a $6 increase, $9, and then 12. However, it's based on a customer using an average power amount of 600 kilowatt hours, which is ridiculous because it's way too low. It doesn't take into effect electric heat. If you look there, there is residential electric there. What I put in, this is based on 2024 data. This is for a single family home, 1,440 square feet. You can see what the kilowatt usage is. This is what the individual paid in their original bill. By the way, that was me. So that is what I paid. But starting 1 July, you would have to add $2 to that. In 2026, you would have to add $4 to that amount. In 2027, you have to add 7, and in 2028, you would have to add 11.
Bill, are you saying that you add 11 to the 29 and 89?
Yeah, and that's what you get. Now, of course, it's an estimate, things can change. The weather can be different because if you go further down, it gets a lot higher when you get into the winter months. And if it was based on the winter of last year, which was kind of mild. So if you get a really cold winter, those numbers will probably go up.
Like this year?
Yeah, like this year. 1440, of course, if somebody has a smaller house or an apartment, the cost would be lower. But if somebody had a 2,000 square foot or a 3,000 square foot, it would be a lot larger. So this just gives you a rough idea of what you're looking at. Next down, I took one of our commercial customers and I did the same thing. So you can see what their bill was last year and what it's going to be on the out years. And then on the last page, I took one of our industrial customers and I did the same thing. And you can see how their bills are going to, how their bill will jump over the 4-year period. As a result, our association has put out that a resolution that they're asking all the municipalities to sign and submit back to them, and they want to present it to the Board of Trustees of the New York Power Authority. They're the ones who are going to make the final decision sometime after February 23rd. Whether it'll make a difference or not, I don't know. But like the old saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained in the process. But that's what we're looking at this point. And of course, those raised numbers don't take into Rex and Zex. They're also on an upward trajectory. So those costs will go up as well, but I have no idea what they will be. We don't normally know until the year they started.
Bill, when do you think you'll have an answer to
this?
Oh,
we will probably know with it. They want to start 1 July of this year. So they will have to make a decision probably somewhere around April, May timeframe in order for their staff to start changing the numbers in their computers and so forth to start calculating this.
Okay.
The question is how much pushback they're going to get. It was interesting this time when they did 2010, they had multiple meetings all over the state of New York. In fact, they had one up here in Messina. I went to that one. This time, and there was a lot less of a rate increase. This time, there was only 2 meetings, one out in Lewiston and one in Albany, and that was it.
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you.
No.
May I ask a question? There are some people that don't seem to know where our hydroelectric power comes from. They think it's coming from Canada and that the tariffs will be affecting.
Well, there, but it's from New York State.
Very good. I would just like to get that on the
There's
record.
2 sources of it. One is by Niagara Falls. There is the main plant, but there's another plant up in Messina.
Okay.
And that's where it comes from. Nothing comes from Hydro Quebec.
Okay.
Or Hydro Ontario.
New York Power.
It's all New York, yes.
So this is good information to put out there. Thank you very much.
Tariffs wouldn't affect this anyway, because
No.
tariffs don't affect the rates. It's the New York Power Authority that creates and affects rates.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's generated in New York State.
Right.
Now, it comes out of the Niagara River. On one side is the USA and the other side is Canada. But plant is on the USA side, so. Yeah, those tariffs would have no impact whatsoever on our electric power.
So that will help with the misinformation. Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem.
Bill?
Anything else?
The only oversight is the governor, right, that we could contact
Yeah, well,
essentially.
well, they also recommended sending it to the local assemblyman, Billy Jones, and the state senator Steck as well. Now, the legislature really doesn't have much of a say in that, because since the New York Power Authority is an authority, they only respond to the governor's office. The board of trustees that are on there that's going to make the decision, they're appointed by the governor with the advice and consent of the New York Senate, and they serve 5-year terms. Then they select the chief executive officer and president of the company. So yes, but I would believe that they wouldn't go forward with this without advising the governor's office in advance. Now, if she gets a lot of pushback, then she might tell them to start thinking about Plan B.
That would be the one thing I would tell everyone. Contact the governor.
That's why it's been suggested by all the municipalities to submit this resolution that are impacted by this.
Okay. Thank you, Bill.
Sure. Good evening.
Thank you.
Oh, no further discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Evans?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Manette?
Yes.
Counselor Colleen?
Yes.
Item 7.45, authorizing establishing restricted opioid settlement cash account.
Moved by Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Colleen. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Evans?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Manette?
Yes.
Counselor Colleen?
Yes.
7.46 is the introduction of local law P-1 of 2025. Local law amending and restating it in its entirety, chapter 47, election districts to the city code of the city of Plattsburgh. I hereby announce a public hearing date set on Thursday, February 20th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. And Alicia, thank you for all the work on the redistricting.
Thank you.
I meant to thank you at the work session, but. let me
Thank you
say
so
thank
much.
It's long overdue.
Hold it.
We're finally gonna go to a public hearing on a local law for redistricting, so I'm excited. Whereas I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session to discover matters which imperil public safety if disclosed. Councilor Gibbs, seconded by Councilor Colleen. What was the motion?
Executive session.
Executive session.
Okay.
Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Evans?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Manette?
Yes.
Counselor Colleen?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna- thank you.
Meeting my friend. Cleared the room. Nobody's here. Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, what are you trying to say?
Sorry, I was looking there first. Thank you for my notes. Sorry.
Elizabeth had to take off.
Yes, you can.
Can I get a motion to return to executive session where we discuss matters which imperil public safety if disclosed, where no action was taken? Moved by Councilor Evans. And. Oh, thank you.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Blood sugar?
I could think Jennifer, and I couldn't think of your last, I apologize.
We've been doing a lot of first names tonight.
Roll call.
On,
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs left, Counselor Town,
Yes.
Counselor Manette,
Yes.
Counselor Collins. Yes.
With no further action comes before the council, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. First by Councilor Fallon, second by Councilor Manette. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yep.
Counselor Evans,
Yep.
Counselor Town,
Yes.
Counselor Manette,
Yes.
Counselor Collins. Yes.
Have a great night.